They're warned. A lot of you guys are going to go crazy. And sure enough, we got a person shooting themselves.
Yep.
We got a person beating themselves with a rock. I'm
Yes.
like, damn.
Yeah, so...
You can just shoot yourself.
Yeah. It's like, nah, that's not for me.
Yeah. Old school, baby.
Yeah.
Old school.
That's right.
Robots wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
Hey, Internets.
Did you hit it? Oh, you did?
I did. Look
Oh,
at that.
okay.
It's going. All right. Well, bye, Internets. Hey, Internets. It's Paul. It's Matt. Dork Lords. We are here talking about Star Trek Picard, Season 1, Episode 8, Broken Pieces. Our episode begins with another flashback, which we'll talk about here in a second, showing our Zhat Vash having visions. It ends with the crew of the La Sirena going on the Borg superhighway to Soji's homeworld, being followed, we assume, by Narek. Broken Pieces. I was trying to think of what this refers to. I suppose there's a lot of different little metaphors it could mean.
Sure, of course. Broken people.
I think the broken people, exactly. A lot of broken people here.
Yeah.
But I
very
would...
sad broken people.
We'll talk about that. But also insane people that broke.
That's true. They broke their faces.
Maybe also, more to the point, is the little subplot involving Rios and how the various EMHs are parts of his self.
Oh, sure.
So, like, he scanned himself to make the various, they're not all EMHs, but the emergency holograms of various types.
Yep.
That they are all little pieces of him.
Sure.
And so that's maybe
That
where
could
the
be.
broken
Sure.
pieces.
Who knows? Yeah.
So, okay. Anyway, I was not thrilled by this episode. I'll say that right off the bat.
Okay.
I don't know. What was your general thoughts?
I mean, I thought it was fine, even though there are things that I thought could have been better.
Okay. There's some good action in it. Stuff with 7 of 9 and Elnor on the cube it's fun to watch. There are some good dialogue scenes. I think Picard having his little heart-to-heart with Soji. Some of that stuff's really interesting. But there are just some story beats that you're like, I'm not a fan of some of this stuff. So we'll talk about it. But okay, so let's start with this flashback and what it means.
That's probably the thing that bothers you most.
There's the Rios kind of bothers me too, frankly.
Okay.
It's Rios in the fact that it's a small universe.
Does that bother you more?
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
All right, so the flashback. We are on a planet. We learn later in this episode that there is this planet. It's called the Grief World, something like that. Aya. It is a planet surrounded by 8 stars.
Grief World.
Yeah, there's like a little text under the screen. It's
I must have missed that.
Yeah. Welcome to Grief World. It's like Westworld, but everyone's just really sad, which is appropriate for this show because everyone is sad on this show. Okay, so apparently, you could correct me if I'm wrong out there, commenters, but I get the opinion this was set up by an alien race, not Romulans. So this is something hundreds of thousands of years ago,
yes.
we're told.
Oh, yeah. I rewatched at the beginning. She's like, we don't know the creatures that created this.
Okay.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We're dumb.
So, okay. So the Q, I don't know. Anyway, Q and his buddies, probably not, but maybe. All right. Anyway, set this up. They moved 8 stars across the universe to create this thing, and the idea is that it's like a big warning, like, check this out, you want to check out the planet that's in the middle of these 8 stars probably. So there was some enterprising, so to speak, Romulans that showed up and were like, oh, let's check out this planet.
Sure.
And they went down to this planet and they found this magical circle, like wow. And when they touched it, I'm guessing the first person to touch it went crazy and probably shot themselves. And then the second person showed up, saw that dead person, was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't touch that ring yet.
And then everybody else touched it.
Right. So in this case,
they're just like mice.
I know it's a little piece of cheese. So several years have gone by, I guess, where people have touched this ring. Some of them go insane. All of them are given these weird visions. And it's Commodore O, this is again in the past, but Commodore O leading up, this is before the Mars attack, she's saying, "Hey, all right, everybody, part of your what they call the admonition.
Yes.
You're gonna be indoctrinated into the Jat Vash
Sure.
by touching this circle."
You know, and another thing that I thought was weird.
And they're all women.
Why are they all women? What is this with the, you know, you never, I don't
Because
feel
they're
like
fighting
before-
against the nuns. I don't know.
Well, then, I don't have any problem with women being in charge, but why?
I'm confused also because I feel like earlier in the season it was like the Jat Vash, they're attacking. We have to stop them. But there were dudes for sure.
Yeah, there was dudes.
So are they just underlings then? I guess maybe there's like
Yeah.
the Jat Vash,
Pawns.
you know, the.
Or like, are they all like queens? Like, you know, or like, oh, my drones.
Right. Good
You know,
point.
so
Like
it's like
board
all
queens.
the queens go, and then they go off to, you know, their what do they call them? Honeycombs. To tell their drones
Honeycomb's
what to do.
big. Yeah. It's not small. Kill you dead. Okay. It's a group of like, I think it's like a dozen women. They all have the black cloaks on.
Yes, our foremothers told us to do this.
We noticed that one of the women is Ramda. It's the woman who we meet later who went crazy to destroy her. And she's on the cube at the moment.
Yep.
She's there. We find out she's also Narek and Rizzo's aunt.
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they went there at a very young age to be cared for by
Aunt Ramda.
Aunt Ramda.
And also Rizzo is there. So she's like, all right, I'll touch the circle. So the touch circle, they're warned. A lot of you guys are gonna go crazy. And sure enough, we got a person shooting themselves. We got a person beating themselves with a rock. I'm
Yes.
like, damn.
Yeah, so...
You can just shoot yourself.
Yeah. It's like, man, that's not for me.
Yeah. Old school, baby.
Yeah.
Old school.
That's right.
Robots wouldn't do this. So
But,
Rizzo.
you know, I wonder if there's another way to cull the herd.
Right. So Rhonda, you know, we get the opinion that this is what made Rhonda go crazy.
Yep.
But not kill myself crazy. She didn't go suicidal.
No.
Although she tried to commit suicide earlier in the season, right? When she's like, the Destroyer takes out gun.
Oh, yes, she was going to kill herself. Yes, she's like, that's it.
All right. I waited 14 years. I'm ready to do the thing.
Yeah, oh, seeing the vision, that's not so bad. But, oh, they're the...
Yeah.
Oh, no!
So I lost my train of thought here. Okay.
So
we saw the vision.
And she's like,
Some people die, some people don't.
Yep.
She's like, what do we have to do? We got to go to Mars. Boom, and that sets that up.
Right. And, oh, my poor auntie.
Right. So we see in the present day, Rizzo back on the cube. Her aunt is in a coma, and she's talking to her.
Yep.
And one of the things she says is, oh, yeah, when you took us in when our parents died all those years ago. We know that Narek's already said, oh, my brother died.
Yes.
Not my twin, but a brother of mine died. And now they hear that the parents dying. Anyway, just throw that out there for later. I have a dumb theory, but we'll talk about that. Okay, so
Yeah, I just thought about another way, which is dumb. Go ahead.
I know. There's a lot of ways it
many
doesn't
ways,
work.
yeah.
Okay. She also says, oh, that's the reason why the Borg cube failed, was because Ramda was so screwed
Crazy,
up
yeah.
that it like infected the
Yes,
Borg, I
yes,
guess.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Sure. Then that would be like Borg defense.
Sure.
It'd be like, okay, we don't want to be assimilated.
It's like, have we got any crazy
Everybody
people?
touch the ring.
Yeah.
Who survived? You? All right, we're putting you on a ship.
Yeah. Make sure they don't have any guns.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no guns and no rocks. You do the clawy face. You can survive clawy face,
Well,
right?
you know, mittens.
Like, oh, my skin.
You
Yeah,
can
put some mittens on,
on.
some gel. I'm crazy, but I can't kill myself. All right, perfect.
Maybe put those cones on their heads.
Right,
you know,
you're now bait. We're gonna put you into Borg space on a
Yes,
ship.
there you go.
Okay. Rizzo's like, track down that elf guy, Elnor.
Sure.
And they're like, oh, we tracked him down. Here's where I think we were asking the question last week, and it still doesn't answer this question, but it at least insinuates. We were saying, how the hell did he get the little signaler to call 7 of 9?
Yes.
We learned that he's hiding out in Hugh's office. So that's where he found the thing. It was probably Hugh had one himself. And so he clicked on Hugh's version of that keychain.
Yeah, maybe.
But
maybe
it still didn't say it.
79 just gives out him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah, it's
Want some
calling
for your
cards.
kids? Yeah.
Put this on a refrigerator magnet.
Yeah.
You can just push it when you need me. So she shows up timely, kills a bunch of guys. It's an awkward hug. I didn't really buy the hug, but so be it. Elnor is so excited to have, someone there to help him after being alone for so long on
Who
the
hurt
ship.
you?
It just didn't feel real. It felt like an actor going, "I'll hug you now." Okay, but it's a long story, Paul. Okay, so Elnor is rescued by 7 of 9. Also, we knew that needed a Borg to get into the Room of Requirement.
Yes.
They go there. 7 of 9 plugs in, and she can bring all the Borg back online.
Yes, she can.
She's debating whether to do that.
Yes.
Elnor's like, "Yep."
Well, I think initially she's sort of, turning the cube itself back on.
Right.
Which they notice. In which case, then it's like the option, since they're going to do terrible things, is turning the actual,
Yeah, bring the assimilate the Borgs.
Yes, reassimilate.
Yeah, and so she's like, ethically that seems weird. Elnor doesn't really see the problem. He's like, well, you just put them back when you're done.
Yeah.
And then she has the point, well, they may not want to come back.
Right.
And I may not want to put them back.
Exactly.
Which is an interesting little moral dilemma.
It is.
That they then drop,
They
unfortunately.
just drop it.
Keep that interesting. Anyway, so she plugs in. She becomes essentially like, well, I can make a mini collective.
Yes.
So it's like, boop. So like she makes a mini collective and becomes Borg queen of a mini, mini collective. So
and Rizzo's just having a ball, shooting anybody,
shoots all the
until their guns are finished. But thankfully, they've got lots of guns.
And it's like ducks in a barrel, right there. Like, please shoot me.
Yeah.
I won't even hide.
Hang
on. I'm going to duck behind this desk. Oh, you shot me. Okay. So yes, she just wastes a whole bunch of folks. Gets more and more evil. You got to kill a bunch of folks.
Centurions or whatever they're called is like, she's like, how can we get rid of these guys? They're going to turn them on. And it's like, well, can we electrocute them? And he says, we can shoot them off into space. She's like, ooh, I like that.
I like that.
That's
Do
good.
that. So if the bit about when she's talking to her aunt was supposed to make her seem more sympathetic, it did not work.
Well, yes.
It did not soften our evil character.
No, definitely
basically.
not. No.
So that's their plan, and that's what they end up doing. When 7 of 9 brings the Borg back online, she decides, all right, ethically, hell with it, we need these folks. So she's going to bring them on to help fight the Romulans.
Yep.
The Romulans go, fine, boop, and send them out into space.
Yep.
I think there's some question as to whether Borgs can survive in space, but even if they could, I assume eventually you catch like a gravity of a sun or a planet or something. I don't know if they do some kind of thing where they go scoop up some Borg next episode or not.
I wouldn't think. Yeah.
But there's thousands of them just drifting in space right now.
Yes.
What they'll do is they'll combine to form Super Borg.
There you go.
And then they'll fly off to the planet.
Sure, robots in disguise.
Right. Mighty Borg unite. So then at the end, as we mentioned, they kind of take that plot line out of the picture when 7 of 9's finished her thing. She's sad because all these Borg died, and she then just unplugs herself.
Yes.
There's a moment where she's speaking in the we, and we can hear
oh,
Annika has more to do.
Yes.
And so she's like, okay, fine. And she unplugs. And you're like, okay. So at least for now, there's no residual effect of that.
Yes.
I will say this. What it seems to be pointing toward, our story, involves they're going to be at this planet we know they're going to be at the planet of the synths.
Yes.
And we know the Romulans are on their way.
Yes.
And we know the Starfleet is on its way.
Yes.
So those ships are on the way, but so maybe what turns the tide, Borg Cube comes in.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Directed by 7 of 9.
Sure, why not?
It's like, fine, we don't have a lot of weapons, but we can cube it up, smash you with cube, but I don't know.
Of course they have weapons.
They have weapons. I
mean?
know she can. Can she make it fully functional just by herself?
Why not?
Probably. I guess so. It's a collective. That's what a collective is.
That's right.
Boo, 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 boo. So, yeah, she blows up the world and saves everything.
There you go.
So that is really what happens on the cube.
Well, you didn't. Yes, and what Rizzo gets away.
Right, she is assaulted by a bunch of we're not sure if they were ex-Borgs or if they were Borgs that were I don't know. Anyway, Borg style folks pile on her, but then she's teleported away to a ship, and the ship's taken off for Synth Planet.
Yep.
So Elnor and 709 are still on the cube, which is one of the reasons why I was like, some point they're going to have to bring Elnor back to Picard.
Yes.
And maybe instead of Picard coming to them, they go to Picard.
Sure.
Especially also if who would know about a Borg highway? The Borg.
There you go.
So, oh yeah. Woo. Anyway, all right. There you go. That's my thought. Cube gets into action. Okay. So there's that. A lot of action happens on the La Sirena, where first we've got the situation. Agnes is waking up, and we know she's guilty.
That's not the first.
That's the first thing. You're right.
The first thing is they're on the ship. Oh, here we are.
Yeah.
And Picard is like telling Rios hey, we gotta go. We gotta go to get out of here. Come on.
And he sees Soji and kind of loses it.
Yep.
The reason that Rios loses it is we find out through the course of this episode that back in the day, I think was he a first officer? I don't know. He was a higher up.
Yes, he was.
And there was this Captain Vandermeer, and they picked up two people. They thought people, which was Jana and her brother. Jana is a synth. Jana and her brother are both synths. Jana looks exactly like Soji. When they came on board, they got what they call it, a black flag directive?
Something
like that. Like basically the Federation was like, kill them both, or we'll blow up your ship.
Yeah, I wonder if he, they're like, if you could look at this message by touching this bar.
Oh God! Oh God!
Where's a rock in my office?
So you don't have rocks in here, damn it. So he follows orders and apparently shoots both of the synths.
Yes, he does.
And then when Rios is like, "What the hell did you do?"
Yeah,
really, hey, ethics, morals, you're a killer.
Yes.
Apparently his captain agreed.
Yeah, you're right. So I was just
you're right. You're absolutely right. And he commits suicide in front of Rios. Rios gets discharged after that. Basically, he has PTSD and some kind of medical thing, and is let go. And so that's the burden he carries. Then seeing Soji, and he has a picture, a drawing of Soji that he still has in one of his old cigar boxes, and so yeah, this brings it all back. And so he shuts down, and Rafi, in an attempt to figure out what happened to him, is talking to all the emergency hologram versions of him, who she finds out are various aspects of his personality.
Yes.
What was a little odd was it seemed like the information she was trying to get, she got fairly early on. She found out about Jana, and she found out about that the captain killed himself.
In fact, until they said what had happened, I just figured some strange reason he knew somebody like her.
I see.
So I didn't think that it was somebody they just met and then just killed.
Well, it seems like then when she finally got the story, it was from him himself.
Yes.
But so that bit where she's got them all in the room.
Yes.
I don't know that it accomplished much.
I don't think she learned anything at all except that more about the EMHs and all the other emergency holograms and how their relationship to.
I noticed that their names are based on
their jobs.
Not their job, but like the EMH is Emmett.
Right.
The ENH navigation is Enoch.
Right.
So it's just like EN something.
Yep.
Is
E
what
something.
their names. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, they have this little heart-to-heart, Rafi and Rios. And we learn his backstory.
Yes.
What I didn't like about it is that it does make this universe small. Right?
Yes.
It's like, hey, completely independent of this story, I happen to be the guy on the ship when the last time a Soji showed up, and I witnessed her die.
It's unfortunate that the person who chose Rios for this mission, that's Rafi, didn't already have a suspicion that he was involved.
Because if she had, then it would have made more sense why she chose it. But she doesn't.
No.
She's like,
she doesn't, at least not at this time.
Correct.
So, but
you're right.
boy,
Maybe that
she's
pays off.
acting kind of strange if that's the case.
She does. We were talking about how
what's going wrong with him? Oh, you don't know? I did know. I needed him to know, but not to suspect that I knew.
There's a lot of that going on, actually.
Yes, that's true.
So it was funny how in a show where, and I just was noticing this specifically with Agnes.
It's a small galaxy after all.
But it's Agnes and Rios. And until this episode, Rafi, they've all been so depressed a lot.
Yes.
So Rafi was actually kind of excited
she was
right?
Yes, she was happy.
That she's waiting to go back to her son.
She's like, if you like conspiracy theories, this is great. This is awesome.
Oh, the Romulans did, in fact, kill everybody on Mars? Oh. Huh. Could you put that in writing, please?
Yeah. Could you address it to my son?
Sign this affidavit?
Yeah.
Great. Excellent. Hello, son. All right. Anyway, so there's that. Then there's also this subplot of, Agnes, we assumed the EMH would give up the goods on her, and he finally does.
He did.
Took him a while.
It did.
But they find out, so Picard is told, yep, she... we brought her on. Rafi's like, you brought her on. I didn't get a chance to do the security sweep. We
that was the thing that sort of bothered me in a way. It's like her...
When she grabbed a gun and pointed at Soji? Oh, that bothered me a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, it was sort of like, now I'm irrational. Oh, I'm so mad at Picard. And he's like, what's going on? Is this fact or theory? Oh, theory. Okay, well, I'm going to ignore you then. Wait, no! And all her, and it only took that. And there's a number of situations in this show where she's sort of like, what? I'm upset. This is crazy. Like, okay, here's a bit of information. Oh, okay.
Well, there's also these moments when the synths are very good at determining when they're actually under threat.
Yes.
Like in the last episode, it was Riker's kid pointing the bow at him. And she's like, no, in this one, it's Rafi literally pointing a gun at her, and she's like, okay. Whatever. You would think otherwise... Dead. I killed Rafi. So Agnes wakes up. Picard has a kind of frank discussion with her. She agrees that she's going to turn herself in, but she said she saw hell. And they end up having this big meeting where they kind of lay down the law of what's happened.
Sure.
And so this is that thing where ancient race... I'll guess that the ancient race harnessed synths for their own use at some point, and they were the ones that screwed up.
Sure.
Hundreds of thousands of years ago. Somehow rectified the situation because life still exists. I don't know. We don't know. We don't know what happened there. But
somehow stopped the synths, I guess, since there's apparently not a race of synths. But
something terrible happened.
And gave them enough time to create this crazy way to warn people.
You're right. So, it is a crazy way to warn people. But okay, we'll talk more about that. But so they set this up, and now there's a situation where they're constantly out there monitoring. They're the universe police, and if you hit a certain threshold, the analogy was, like Zephram Cochrane.
Yes,
he hit warp,
yes,
and then the Vulcans came.
Right.
First contact. So much like first contact, it's last contact.
Yes.
It's, you hit this threshold where synths are self-aware and have beauty marks? All right, then, boo, we come in and wipe you out.
Well, the thing that occurred to me, though, is like self-aware is like sense of humor, right? Because, Data was kind of self-aware,
right,
but he didn't have a sense of humor, and he
didn't use contractions.
No,
that's it.
It's like,
that's what does it.
What's going on?
Laura did. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah. And he sweats, and he has mucus, or she has mucus, so he didn't have all that stuff. So it's okay.
So in other words, the whole time that Star Trek Next Generation was on, they were like
watching, like, huh?
They were on the brink the whole time. They were like, "Is Data? Oh, you're gonna give him the emotion chip?
Yeah.
This is the moment. No.
Yeah,
Oh, he died. Okay. That's fine.
It's like, wait, that guy's evil. Oh, is that it? Is that the one? Is we? No.
All right. We're gonna go sip our tea and wait.
Yeah.
So we don't know.
Yoon Sung is such an idiot. We don't have to worry about him. He'll never get it.
So we don't know what race this is. Is it a race that's been introduced before? I mean, there are some, uber powerful societies that we've met. It could be like they do like a little callback. I think we will meet this race, or at least they're going to show up and be like, "Oh no, we have to."
It'd be very
keep
strange
them
if they didn't, because that's apparently the thing that
right.
Well, the thing that it reminds me of, actually, and I only just thought of it as we were talking, sat down to do this thing. No, was it before? That this whole thing reminds me of the story where it's like a group of like a society, like a little small town, has to take a couple of kids to offer as a sacrifice, you know. So
the lottery.
Yep, the lottery.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, let's kill these kids just so they don't kill us, you know. That's what it reminds me of. Sort of like, oh, anytime this one part of our society evolves up, you know, then we gotta go kill them.
Well, apparently some folks have said, I've seen multiple versions of this, so I can't attest to this personally, but I've heard that this plot is very similar to the video game Mass Effect.
Oh.
That it is there's this other society, and when you build up your synths too much, they come in and go,
okay.
But whatever. Seems like if you wanted to indoctrinate people, like the Zhat Vash, you're like, I want to expand our group of people that we can trust to help get rid of synths. Seems like you could just tell them. And like this process by which half of them or some percentage of them go crazy, another percentage of them die.
This has bothered him for a very long time.
It bothers me.
It doesn't bother me at all.
Like you could do a PowerPoint, couldn't you? You could be like, hey, this is what we learned.
No.
Somebody touched the circle and survived. They wrote this down.
I feel
Here's the visions you would see if you were touching the circle. Oh, look, that's the world blowing up. Oh, look, that's an android that looks a lot like Data. Oh, look, there's dead guys. Great. So we don't want that. So here's our mission statement. Are you in? Here's your first check.
Yep.
Here's your dental. Oh, but instead it's like, you went crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you can say, like, okay, here's your dental. Okay, now here's the people you have to kill, and your own people, and your own planet, okay? Okay, go. But they're not doing it.
Well, for enough money.
It's like, how do we make people crazy enough to do this stuff? Wait, I've got an idea. The people that aren't crazy enough, we'll just kill themselves.
Right, if you're not crazy enough, you die.
All we need is a couple.
Let's face it. Think about it this way. Who are the two people that seem at least rational or still have their mind and survive? They're both evil as hell.
Yeah, that's right. There you go.
So if you're evil and conniving, it's Rizzo and O.
Pretty evil, you know. It's like you know that Rizzo would love their aunt or
her aunt.
Yeah,
if that is her aunt. So let's talk about that.
Here's this crazy theory.
Here's the crazy theory. So they're coming to this planet.
Crazy theory.
We know they synths are made in pairs. We were introduced to this idea that we hadn't been introduced to before in this episode, which is, when Rios was the first officer back on the other ship, it was a brother and sister.
Yes.
Showed up, and the sister looked a lot like Soji.
Yep.
But the brother, we don't know what he looked like.
I don't think we do.
Whatever. But we get the idea that if they were brother or sister, they were probably human. So my thought is perhaps there are different races that have like brother-sister combos that they're going to find on this planet. Oh, there's the human combo. Again, it's weird that what would have made more sense in the story would have been if it was two Sojis that showed up. Oh, we're twin sisters because we've already been introduced to that concept.
Right.
The fact that there's a guy is weird.
Well, that's one of the switcheroos, right? Because we just assumed they're making pairs, so there should be two Sojis. Yeah. And there were, but there weren't. It's like they're all made in pairs, and maybe it's like male-female pairs, and that's, I guess, what we're getting now. So there's a number of lines, like in Battlestar Galactica, where it's like these are the sixes.
These are sixes.
So
my thought is the Romulan sixes, the Romulan line is perhaps Narek and Rizzo. And that's when they get down there, we're going to see that there's a line of them that's Narek and Rizzo. Now, that doesn't work with a lot of what we've already seen from Narek and Rizzo. No. Obviously, if they are indeed synths, they don't know it because they're trying really hard to kill the synths.
Now, you thinking that Narek was the male that was with?
See, I don't think so because he's a Romulan.
Okay.
So it would be somebody different. I don't know that we're going to see in my version, I think that male would just be somebody we haven't met before.
So you're saying that on this, you think we'll see Narek and Rizzo on this planet, and that they don't know that they're
correct.
Okay, and also somehow crazy woman.
Right. Has to be in on it.
Has to be in on it.
Because she took them in.
Yep.
She would have been like, my sister doesn't have kids, or whatever. So.
And, there's that Soji. I'm going to kill her. But, of course, yeah.
Yeah, right. There's a lot that doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Which is why I'm not even sure if I want this to happen.
Oh.
But I feel like the story might be pointing in that direction. They have this brother-sister.
Yes.
They have a very weird relationship.
They really do.
He seems to easily get along with Soji to the point they're like, hey, let's make out. He doesn't have he's very secretive. Now, Romulans generally are secretive, but they really play up the, who are you? I don't know. I'm not telling you.
It's like he spent all this time saying, "Oh, look at this! All this information that you should know, or whatever."
Like physician, heal thyself, right? Wow. Oh, whenever you talk to your mom, it's 70 seconds long, and then you fall asleep. That's weird. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go talk to my mom now.
Gonna talk to my aunt.
It's weird how you don't have any actual evidence that you existed of past 3 years ago. Anyway, 9 years ago, my parents died, and there's nothing before that. Anyway, so yeah, he'd have to be so unself-critical about this whole thing. Yes. But if he's still under the computer hypnosis, it's a stretch, which is why I kind of hope it's probably not the case. But I feel like that might be. Well, I think here's what I feel more confident about. There will be a reveal that someone is like, oh, and either it's the brother of Jana, the brother that got killed off.
Right.
This other, so like that will be somebody we know.
Right.
Or there'll be other synths that were like, that's why I'm thinking what's in the list of candidates.
Sure, yeah.
Who would make the best candidate?
Sure, yeah.
It seems like Narek kind of makes the best one.
It does seem like that, yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
Of trying to.
It could also be that there's like different versions of Data there, since we have his neurons are involved.
Yep.
But in any case, Soji commandeers the ship temporarily and puts him on a course for this Borg highway. Agnes, another thing I didn't really care for in this episode was that she gets over her must kill all synths rather easily. Like she's like, oh, I showed this thing and it literally was so terrible that I had to kill Maddox, and I was asked. They told me kill the synth.
Yep.
Like you were ordered to kill Soji. Yep, I was ordered to kill Soji. She talks to her for like freaking 5 minutes, and she's like, "Oh, you have a mole, and you eat when you're hungry. Okay, never mind. I'm fine." Now, maybe she is fine. I certainly wouldn't trust that she was. I wouldn't give her free run of the ship, for instance. This is a person that. She could change her mind, right? She could change her mind in half an hour and be like, yeah, actually, never mind. But no, they're like, okay, she's fine. And she sits in on the meeting. They're like, I'm like, oh, it seems like I just didn't buy it. I thought, first of all, I would treat her as a criminal. I'd put her in the brig.
Yes, and the I think that's the logical thing, as opposed to have her traipsing around. I'm sorry, I'm not going to kill anyone anymore. I'll grant you that.
Yeah.
But
you think her turn is
well,
believable?
Here's the thing. Most of her life, she's been like that. Most of her like, oh, if I ever saw it, oh, I'd love these. So most of the time, that's how she's been. So the aberration is, you're so
I had this vision of hell, as she put it.
Yeah. So, and what does she do because of it? She takes this poison and gets knocked out, and there's sort of a story trope that's not crazy, but it's, obviously they're treating it. You're probably going to buy the Winter Soldier and his programming because it happened over a longer period of time, and he had to go to Wakanda to get over it. So for you, you're probably going to be like, okay, it's fine. He's fine now.
He's fine now.
But this woman just had one experience, and then it made her do something terrible, and then she nearly killed herself, and then wakes up from a coma. So for me, since most of her time before that, it's only this small period of time when she's been under the effect of it, I'm okay with it. But you're right, I don't like the whole...
that they trust her so much.
Yeah, they trust her so much. It's like, the first thing she says when she wakes up is, you better turn yourself in. I mean, why can't you turn her in?
Right.
It's like,
Yeah. Another thing that occurred to me, this is a small point, but it's when Elnor is in Hugh's office, and he's waiting for the Romulans to come in and attack him.
Yes.
And they throw in a flash grenade, and then they come in.
Yep.
Okay. you've seen this guy at work.
Yes.
Rizzo certainly did.
Yep.
It's like, oh, that freak. He's out there with his sword. She called him a freak. She's like, where is...
See him. I was like, he wasn't one of the people walking around.
Yeah,
I didn't work with him.
No, but she saw him slicing and dicing folks.
Yes, she did.
And she hadn't even fought him. And it was like, oh, wow, this guy. Okay.
Yeah.
So, he's a guy with a sword, and he's pretty good at it.
Yes.
Maybe you don't just run in and start punching him. Like, I get, maybe you want to take him alive. Well, you got stun settings on phasers. Like, open the door and shoot a phaser at him.
It's Romulan gun. Remember?
They don't have stuns. They just kill people.
I think they said like there's no. That's what Rosie said on the Romulan gun. No, just.
All right, maybe you've just answered the question. They didn't have any missile weapon that could incapacitate.
No, they didn't have that. That's all they had. Should we discriminate? No, so fight him. Damn it!
All of us run in at the same time and just punch him. They're like, oh man, okay, all right, good on you, sir. Strategies. So they arrive at the highway, but not at the planet yet. They're going to arrive at the planet next episode, along with the Federation and a bunch of Romulans. Right. So that's they're going to probably show up just ahead of them because they got this super highway.
Yes.
And they have a little time to react. Like, oh, we only got so long before they show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other things?
I don't feel like it.
All right. So be it. We'll be back seeing what theories panned out.
That's right.
Episode 9. We're getting short, so come on back. All right. Oh, and we're also going to be talking Westworld.
Yeah, there you go.
Season 3, Episode 1 this weekend. So see you then, everybody. Bye.